Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the coverage of the 40th season of ETF2L. We're in week 4, covering the game between the French team and Trust the Process. I am Surny, joined by Core on the camera and Beater on the microphone. How's it going, bud?
Oh, it is doing great. I just finished my work week. I'm ready for some TF2. We've got the exciting new clear cut map. And
Oh,
yeah, already, like yesterday, we saw the result where the Polish team TCM, they got 5-0 rolled on Snakewater and then they won clear cut. So already we can see that this new map brings some some challenges to some teams, perhaps we could say. So I'm already looking forward to that. Also, these two teams they played in the pre-season. I don't want to say cup, but like the qualifiers, and that went to 3 maps, and it was very close. And Snakewater ended 2-1 on that one, but the Frenchies did win that one. So maybe slight favorites, but it was close, and we've already seen that it can be a very good game. The teams have changed a little bit, at least trust the process. But let's get the roster up on the screen core if you can.
sure. That seems like a good idea to talk about those rosters. I mean, given their standings in the season so far, obviously, you ignore the fact that 3 of those teams don't exist anymore, but like they're pretty evenly matched so far, right? Like both of these teams have about the same amount of points on the standings as well. So this could be an even matchup to expect. Looking at Trust the Process, you've got Otto playing the medic class, you got Derpy Hooves, aka ALX, on the demo man, Jordy and Silves on the soldiers, and then Ath and Hemp on the scouts. Some interesting numbers here already that catch my eye.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I think what I'm really looking forward to seeing is if Hemp can fill Caper's shoes, because I would rate Caper, who was on this team previously, very highly, and like Hempus is trying to fill his shoes, and I don't know if he can. Like maybe
Hmm.
I'm underestimating him, or maybe I'm overestimating Caper. I'm not sure, but I kind of feel like they should have taken a bit of a dip with that. But at the same time, I don't know. They haven't been winning that much. So, but
Yeah.
they have some experience under their belt. They're going in. Like when you just look at the team, like Otto, Derby Hughes, Jordy Sills, they've kind of between them have some Prem experience. I think Af has been in Prem as well, or maybe he's just been
Yeah.
like
I'm
a bit more
I'm
Prem.
pretty sure this is a pretty strong core of people with experience. I don't know how many seasons Otto has under his belt. I'm pretty sure he's more of a Highlander player, at least for the longest time he was. I don't know much about players in this game, but I know that I've seen a lot of these names in previous seasons, so they're definitely not an unexperienced team for the most part. Every player certainly has, a baseline that they can bring here. And if they work together well, after a bit of a shuffle, uh, they could be looking to take on the French team here, which is, as I said in the standings, quite similar. You can take a quick look at them, obviously. It's, I think, pretty much unchanged from previous seasons, right? I mean, it's
Yes,
always the
actually,
same
yes.
shuffle. And I think this is like actually almost, is it? No, it's identical to last season's roster, right? For once, the French team hasn't like shuffled around much at all. We got
Only
Patchouli on the
one
mid.
check. Yeah, it's like Neo is the only difference.
Yeah, I think Neo is shuffled in again. Yeah, so got Patchouli on the mid, Alien Smiley on demo, Ronz and Dwo on the soldiers, and then QB and Neo rounding out on scouts. Yeah, I think Neo is the only one shuffled in here. But again, I mean these French players they have played they play together all the time, right? There's always some French mix of players shuffled together in some way, and they all have a ton of experience under their belts as well. So, and then obviously being one of the 2 national teams in Prem this season, this is something that you always got to talk about. Is they have that synergy, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And Neo, he hasn't been on a French team for a while. He kind of dilly dallied around a bit, won some Prem, whatever, right? And now he's back on the French team again. That's cool. And then we've got QB, who originally played Demo Man, but he's been playing Scout for the last couple of seasons and been showing a lot of promise on that. Like, he's probably going to do a bunch of big plays. Duo has been getting better and better. Ron's has been kind of under the stewardship of Eames for a long while, and he's kind of like a DM beast. And then Alien Smiley, is he a demo main? Is he a scout main? who knows? He always does a lot of damage on Demo Man either way. It's very impressive. And then Patchouli has been around. Also has hung out on some different teams, maybe one Prem with Josh and Co. So yeah, like there's a lot of experience, and they kind of been doing surprisingly poor in the tables. If we take a look at the tables real quick, you can kind of see that the Frenchies are kind of low, but I will say that it's a little misleading just because they beat
Yeah.
Garda Panteri and they folded, so that just doesn't count anymore. Sorry, boys.
Plus, the other two matches they lost, they played against Aura and Witness Gaming, arguably two of the top teams, right? So
Yeah,
it's not a huge surprise that they might have had a rough time against those teams because those are tough contenders to deal with. But yeah, apparently we cannot show the table, but you know, everybody kind of knows it's a mess right now because apparently 3 teams have folded. So
yeah.
so there is that. But yeah, like as I mentioned quickly, both of these teams they're 1 point apart on the table right now, technically at the bottom. But
Yes.
you know, any point you pick up here, especially at the halfway point of the season, that's going to be a big difference maker. And if you're the French team, you only have easy teams ahead of you now, right? I mean, you're going to get a bunch of defaults because 2 of the teams you're about to fight have folded. 1 has folded. 2 have folded. Yeah, 2 of them. So you got to get a bunch of defaults, but you know, you might have a bit of an easier time ahead of you. While I don't know what the matches are going to be for Trust the Process coming up in later this season. They're going to
Yeah.
be going up against Witness. Ooh,
Oh, good luck.
that might
Good
be.
luck with that one, boys.
Yeah, but that's the only actual match they have left because, yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah.
All right. So yeah, trust the process. They were named TO at the beginning of the season, and they've been trying to trick me
Hmm.
with the Danish flag to make me root for them. But I still think I'm rooting for the Frenchies, to be honest.
Oh,
Yeah, but yeah, it's pretty close in prep. Like Witness Gaming is out in front, looking very strong, and then everything else is kind of up for grabs. I feel like League of Shadows have been
yeah.
overperforming a lot, but we'll see what things will look like after like the next week or two. Things could definitely be caught up by anyone. I feel like because it doesn't show on this. I kind of forgot to put this in. I updated the thing, but yeah.
Oh, we can blame you for everything then. Nice.
Yeah. Course completely innocent. It works. Yeah. Also, the fact that we have stats at all, you can blame me for that one as well. Yeah,
Yeah, true.
go
True.
ahead, do it.
It's an even. It comes out even at the end. You know, the tally is being kept. One mistake offsets a bunch of good things done. That's how it works, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, first map of the day is going to be Snakewater. A very familiar map. Everybody and their grandmother knows this one. They added snakes into the water recently, or at least they put that in the update notes, and everybody lost their minds. Um, but it's gonna be the map that we know what to expect on, for the most part, right?
Yeah.
Can get a bit stalematey at last. That tends to happen from just anecdotally watching this map for years. That's where most like 80% of the game takes place is lobby to last. But if these teams want to play fast, it doesn't happen necessarily.
Yeah.
Do you have any possible predictions? What do you think? Like which team could maybe run away here, depending on how warmed up they are and all the other factors, weather, humidity, all that stuff that plays into it.
Well, I can't tell you about humidity, but I can tell you that Snakewater was updated, and they changed the spawn timers, so that means that it's a
True.
lot faster to, or not, sorry, a lot slower to spawn when you're like pushing into last. So it should be easier to push out of last, so less stalemate. So I'm gonna just be bold and say you're gonna be completely wrong. The last time these two teams faced, it was 2-1, and I think this time around it's gonna be like 5-3 or something. So
Okay.
that's gonna be my bold prediction. I feel like that's a pretty bold prediction, right? And I also
Lots of rounds is a bold prediction, yeah. I
yeah.
mean, a 2 point difference in terms of rounds isn't that bold, but the fact that you're going to see 8 rounds is a lot. That is
Yeah,
ambitious.
yeah, and I'm gonna say I think the Frenchies are gonna win this. They should just be stronger. Trust the process. They have just been having a lackluster season, and I'm just gonna go with they resigned themselves to their fate and just gonna let this defeat wash over them and not put up that much of a fight. And whereas the Frenchies, they can still make playoffs, and I feel like they're a team that should be aiming for playoffs as well, right? Like they only need to beat
Hmm.
out 2 teams to do it. So
Yeah,
come on, I
it's
believe.
certainly a chance for them, and you can always redeem yourself. You might have had a rough start to the season against arguably the two best teams in the season, and then you can come back to sweep into the playoffs. You get a second opportunity. That being said, I do like an underdog story, so I'm gonna have to go against you and hope that Trust the Process can put on at least a show. Uh, maybe we'll go to a golden cap. God knows. Maybe as you said, they've already resigned themselves, and they're just here for the sake of being here and not being like the fourth team that decides to disband this season.
Oh boy, please don't,
I
please.
don't want to curse anybody, so let's hope that
Just
this is a
mega
fun
curse
match.
them, dude. You mega curse. Like this is
Hey, look,
bad. Why would you do this to them?
it's already kind of cursed, all things considered. But yeah, Snakewater is going to be a fun map. I'm sure. I am excited to see Clear Cut because I've played that map a couple of times before. I have never watched a high tier match on Clear Cut, and considering it's the King of the Hill map of the season, I think everybody's going to hate it, obviously, because everybody hates cough maps. But
Obviously, yeah.
it's going to be interesting to see how differently it plays because the only cough map, at least that I know from sixes, is obviously product, right? So I
Yeah.
know it plays differently, having played it a bit myself, but I want to see how differently it plays when people are actually good at the game instead of me.
Yeah. There's probably a difference. I did a map review on my channel with Brand Slam from America, from Witness
Hmm.
Gaming America, and they won against Protech on it in the final when they beat them. So they should be pretty good at it. And as far as I can remember with that, is that it's very like soldier dominated, and then like expect to see soldiers jumping off of those big towers that are in there, and then they're gonna land on the med kits behind lines, and then
Oh yeah, yeah.
right, and then it's just a whole matter of do you chase them down, do you just ignore them and move forward, right? Like how much time do you have? That's gonna be
Hmm.
difficult to tell initially moving in there, and then also just like how do you push into mid? Do you do forward holds? Any kind of stuff like that. You might see some innovation in Europe as well, right? Like it
Yeah.
it's not that old of a map, so there's no way it's completely figured out. Like there has to be some sort of dirty tactic with snipers or heavy or whatever, right? Like
Yeah, they can't have solved the map yet. There's a
yeah,
cheeky shed right next to the point that you can hide somebody in, right? You can probably get a heavy pretty close without him being seen. Yeah, that might be a strategy that could
yeah. There's
catch someone
definitely
off
yeah,
guard. Yeah, yeah.
definitely like bunker strat, where you just hide your medic in there and then you just block the entrances with like soldiers, and like it's a really big thing to jump people behind,
Mm.
like and go in through the back way. So you like need to just have a soldier completely out of the fight, just sitting there feeling stupid. Like it's so counterintuitive the way you defend that. But anyway, we're about to go live here on Snakewater. They kind of just did a fake ready up as they were just getting in here. But I think we're actually going to go live now, Surny. So
Yeah.
this is going to be the week 4 matchup between Lorna Run something Frenchies, that's just what we're going to call them, and Trust the Process, previously known as Tio. Did you make a prediction? Because now is about the time to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm rooting for the process here, but let's see who is gonna take this first mid fight as a demo and make their way. Hoops a lot faster here to mid than Alien, but we're gonna see a quick bomb behind by Rons. He's only gonna meet Sylves and actually be locked into that fight while the rest of the mid is still underway. Nobody has died just yet. Players are just looking at each other, but the Frenchies have way better positioning. Dwo in with a deep bomb as well, but he meets absolutely nothing, and they've only managed to pick up him on their side. So now, obviously, the process see an opportunity. They manage to get into the combo and just demolish the entire team. Jordy just tearing up the combo completely. QB is the only player left alive, and that's a dominant mid by the process.
Oh, he's going to go for the medic pick here. Might just go for the demo instead. Gonna
Or
try and surf out. Yeah, there's no way he's doing anything.
die.
Yeah, it was a very weird mid from the Frenchies there, because like they send in the very fast soldier in Rons, and then he sort of ended up hanging out behind lines, and then after that they sent in a second soldier, and there's just too static of in there. Dwo's actually in a position here to get a potential pick Like, they have no idea that he's this far forward. Just look
Nobody's
at him.
checking drop down at all. Unbelievable. Okay, well, there's Jordy. He walks around a corner, catches Dwo, and Dwo actually does get killed as well as the Uber comes in from the side of the Process boys here. They managed to get a bit of cap time, but their Uber has faded, and they only kill 2 people. Doesn't matter because nobody's actually on the point. The Frenchies just couldn't even walk there. They were held back so much by the spam that that's a quick first round.
Very clean there. Getting that pick on Dwo was actually really nice. That just helped them in the overall push. And there was no stickies on the point at all, so they just popped like a medic and a scout on it. Everyone else was just on put them in spawn duty. And that was a very quick like round. Looking good for my high round prediction there, but that was less than 2 minutes, sir.
We'll see how much that continues. I mean, we're on pace for 15 rounds at this point. Let's see how this mid shakes up. Maybe the Frenchies a little bit slower this time. They don't send in a soldier immediately. And again, it's a slow mid thus far. High bomb by Jordy to take the top ground. Now, maybe a bit of a shuffle around. No, Sills is going to be the first player to actually die here. Frenchies taking a bit of an advantage early in this mid now. Or, well, late much rather. And they're going to walk across the point as well, pick up Af, and everybody else from the Process boys is going to walk back to second as they're being chased back so much already. Rons and Neo both deep. Alien there as well to follow up, and they managed to finally get onto the combo. They managed to pick up Auto and Derpy. Jordy's the last to die as well. He actually blows himself up. So, wonderful mid into second. Wow.
Yeah, very passive mid from the Frenchies there. Basically just shooting anyone that dares step foot on their side of the mid. And that's going to be that. Oh my god, QB just overpowers Silvers, just runs into him, 2 shots, and easy peasy. They're going to pop on the point, doing a lot of damage. This heavy's going to go down. Everyone's been pushed into spawn. You just need to get on it. There you go. Very quick retaliatory round. That was another 2 minutes. Just win mid, win round.
Yeah, you might be onto something here with the whole 8 rounds being played. let's see if the pace continues, because I certainly wouldn't be opposed to it. It's a welcome change from the average match where you see 3 rounds in 30 minutes and one of them takes 20 minutes. So let's see how this continues in our third mid within 5 minutes of the match here. Again, a little passive, no cheeky fast bombs into Saw just yet. Everybody looking at each other. Apt is the first player to actually take high ground on mid here. Very brave, very brave plays there. He's not getting contested all that much just yet. Dwo is going to go forward into Kitchen as well. Slip past pretty much undetected. Jordy does have his eyes on him. He's going to chase him, but that's a distraction for Rons to jump into the combo. He doesn't quite get the second rocket he wants onto Auto, though, so that's both soldiers taken out for the Frenchies. But bad health for Process. They can't quite reaggress just yet. QB's also still in, and he actually got onto Auto. So now they're lacking heals. Now the Frenchies just have to keep their mid safe, and Patchouli is nowhere near. They're about out to second here on the entire French team. I mean, they didn't cap mid. They do have that med ad, that Uber ad. They're gonna roll that forward probably.
Yeah, we're gonna get a bit of a different dynamic than the first 2 rounds here finally. So, you know, we see Trust the Process, they win mid, but they lose their medic, and Patchouli survives. So there's going to be another push in here, and this push is pretty difficult to do. Like, how do you push in here without getting forced? That's not as easy as it looks. I think they were trying to maybe go through, I don't know, maybe Saw or something? But
that was like Rons tried to jump for Catwalk, but he beefed his jump, and then Neo just got mulched by spam, so it looks like they're gonna reset, try for another push here, potentially maybe go through main, but as they wait now, their advantage has actually faded away. Otto is about to have an Uber on his side, so actually, as it stands, we're in an even Uber situation, and all things considered, that actually went really well for Trust the Process, because they won mid, and now they're looking to maybe get second off the back of it as well. They're certainly in the attacking position. They have to make the plays here, but they can try to find an opening or just try to go for some form of exchange.
Yeah,
as
Rod's
the
is far
Frenchies
forward. Like, he's alone in there. So, wow, he actually makes it out. I thought he was a goner for sure, but it looks like Jordy.
Yeah, doesn't quite get what he wants though. Gets a bit distracted by the pipe, doesn't quite find anybody to kill. He's gonna effectively, let's say, trade for Rons here, as Rons goes in for the follow-up play. So just a classical roamer sack, nothing special yet. Just teams looking at each other, and the game has slowed to a crawl. Come on, it's been 2 minutes and there hasn't been a round yet. What's going on?
Have they lost touch? Can they not even win that quickly? I guess this is what happens when one medic doesn't die on mid and like you get rolled on to last. Oh well.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, unbelievable. So we've kind of got your box standard situation here. So how will they break this? Looks like they're gonna have one soldier at the window-ish, and then I'm still waiting to see where Jordy's gonna end up being here, because they could just send in silvers over and over again, but that's not a very high percentage play. It's very difficult to get them in here. But you can also do some gimmicks. You can like bomb in the soldiers. Say they send in silvers like they're doing right now. It's gonna go so far. Almost gets air shot. Nice serve from Patchouli. No respect there. Gets Tempest as well. He overextended that attempt as well.
They really try to push in everybody there, just make as much room as they can for Sylves, and it still didn't quite work out. He couldn't get that rocket because Patchouli hits the fattest serve of the game so far, but it's actually just going to end up being an exchange in Saw here anyway, as Ron's effectively forces auto, and okay. They juggle around a bit.
Juggled in there, yeah. I thought he was going to run out of Uber, but he just barely had enough to actually run out. That was really scary looking. I'm just going to end up...
I was going to eat my words, but he was fine. There's another follow-up right immediately. Jordy goes in deep. Woe gets picked up by Derpy as well. It's looking pretty good for a process right now. They have a soldier in behind. Jordy's definitely tearing up the combo. He manages to get both QB and Patchouli. Neo goes down as well. Ron's the only player alive, and he just spawned, so... Process are looking very mighty fine right now, trying to get into last year. Ron's taken down as well. Clap time already. Dwo's the only spawner. He can't do anything. There you go.
Really strong, like just crunch time push from the soldiers. Both doing so much damage, just timing it really well. Doing a ton of damage. Just raining down death from above. And that's going to be just the cleanest push I've seen for quite a while. Like, even considering... we had like 2 really clean round conversions. Like that non-Uber push, probably the most impressive push we've seen so far this game, and it's going to be 2-1 for Tio.
Let's see if Tio can keep the momentum up, or if the Frenchies come back immediately. Ron's just nukes down Derpy with that high bomb immediately, but they lose both him and QB on the side of the Frenchies. Now a bit of ground here, getting traded back and forth. Alien gets taken down as well, so both teams lacking their demo, but numbers-wise it's certainly better for Tio, and they're going to have to run away with their medic. At least Patchouli lived, and it doesn't look like Tio is going to be able to chase all that easily. Going to have to give up, maybe just settle for having a second here. I mean, they could certainly do a bunch of aggression here. They're already getting cap time, and they lose Jordy.
That's actually a really big pick, because that means that everyone probably has to just retreat. It's going to allow the Frenchies to hold on to second. So really nice pick there. They were trying to like push forward their TU to make sure that they couldn't come out and contest it, but they actually overextended a bit, and it ended up just biting them. So, sometimes forward thinking can actually lead to you moving backwards. It's a very fine, delicate dance. And now we're back.
You gotta find a nice balance, yeah.
Yep, absolutely. So we're back at the resupply chain. I assume as both soldiers just jumps in and dies. QB's just on the fence. This is the most dirty deny spot for a scout to have. I'm surprised both scouts are not just sitting up there. Like, come on. You know Silver's gonna jump in. Come on.
You wanna be up there. You know you do. But Neo's just content with sitting back, shooting stickies, being there in case he needs to run up Patchouli or something, as QB just menacingly stands on that fence. Basically just him looking at your soldiers already scary enough. That being said, process, Tio actually trying to bust through Saw here a little bit. They lose both Jordy and Af. Neo just cleans up that damage. There you go. That's why he's on the low ground to do that.
Can't believe that's certainly gonna sense than me. I can't
open them up a little bit.
Yeah,
well, there you go. Frenchie's taking some forward ground. They do lose Alien in the Uber exchange that in the meantime happens, but Uber is a lot better for the French team here, even if they're down a number right now. Woe is still in behind.
Out of rockets?
No ammo at all? Okay,
I don't know. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. That was so... He was just like running around with the pickaxe behind lines. I don't know what happened there.
Strange
sometimes
place.
You get people that don't use view models. They'll just like run out of ammo and they don't see themselves pull out the stick, right? Because they're just out of ammo. So maybe that's what happened. He just pulled out the stick, started swinging at them. He was like, "Why am I not shooting?" And then he was like, "Oh." But I don't know. Maybe I missed something. I didn't see it that well. I'm just like free camming around.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's the only way to keep track of what's really going on with all this mess. Either way, Tio looking to maybe take last here. They're building that Uber very quickly. Patchouli, They had that bit of an ad, but they couldn't use it at all on the side of the Frenchies. Now they're going to have to hold last. Your QB's going to build a bit of a sentry here. It's a level 3 nice smack dab in the middle, so that's going to get spammed down very easily in case they don't protect it, which it looks like they're going to be able to hang on to for a little bit longer with Neo. And the sniper as well gets auto. Unbelievable.
How did he weave that bullet through everyone and actually find the medic? I don't understand. That's such a good snipe.
The perfect timing, peeking lower. Otto just happens to be, you know, disconnected from his team for a split second. Everybody was in the corner. And that's going to be a crucial drop, a crucial pick there. Frenchie's going to be moving into second. They clean up any stragglers. Jordy gets cleaned up as well. Obviously, Tio looking to maybe get onto Patchouli here. Even just getting a force would already give them so much time to work with again. For now, they're going to be on the back foot. They're down a player. They're down 50%. They're just going to have to keep moving back if they're not in a position to force at all. And the Frenchies are certainly making sure that none of that happens either. They're locking down all the exits, making sure everybody's in front of them. Nobody can get through, and they're going to be able to maybe even get into second here. Runs with a deep bomb. Jordy is going to try to get onto the combo. Gets one rocket onto Patchouli, doesn't get the second one before he gets cleaned up.
Here comes Silvers with the follow-up.
Oh!
Times it perfectly. Just syncs up those rockets, gets the drop. Otto's still in here with 2 scouts. This is like a pretty good Uber combo, but okay, Neo actually got a trade pretty well there, but F just cleans up. That was so clutch. I don't think Patchouli even saw Silvers there before. He was just dead on the ground.
He was so certain that nothing bad was going to happen, and then a second later, you get hit by 2 rockets simultaneously, and you are done for. That's why you practice your sync jumps, kids. That's why they are actually useful, and it worked out beautifully. Now again, Tio on the forward momentum here. QB is now up on the sniper in the forward spawn. They're not aware of this. He could get a cheeky shot off, but it looks like all of Tio are in Saw, so he's going to have a hard time really picking off anybody unless they manage to step on the point. He's certainly being patient. He's waiting, seeing if he can bide his time here, but Tio just, you know, smoking out all these Frenchies. Maybe he can take care of Hempus here. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Meanwhile, there's already an Uber fight on last. Patchouli doesn't even have an Uber.
So much time.
Oh, man.
Wow.
I hate to see that. They almost stepped on it in time, too.
Yeah, 92% of Patchouli. He was just trying to bide his time, but the push was too quick. Not enough stickies on it. Not soldiers bombing it in time. Feels like it was a bit of a miscommunication there from the Frenchies, and yeah, they're gonna go down 1-3 on Snakewater.
Well, now they need to pick up 4 rounds, and then we have the prediction scoreline that you wanted. It's gonna happen, obviously, as we're heading into our 5th mid fight now. Yeah, that's incredible. Normally you'd see this in a roll, but there you go. It's underway. Ron's dies, but so does Derpy on the other side. QB dies, Jordy. It's trades all around, but HP is looking a lot better for Tio, and as is the positioning, so it looks like they have probably won this mid, unless they can somehow trade unfavorably, which is not the case, as Sills and Aft pick up 2 more kills, 1 each of them, and it's only Dwo and Patchouli left as they run for their lives. Dwo trying his best to bodyguard, but it's not going to happen with the pincer coming in with Silvers from behind as well. A beautiful mid-fight yet again.
Yep, and just managing to chase down Patchouli is just so good for them. It's going to be another push in onto last. Like, just as long as they don't overextend on second, looks like they're not going to be the case. You can see they're very keen. I think they're looking for spies as well. Like, Otto spending all his time looking behind him. Like, he's just waiting for that spy. It's going to be a Neo on the sniper again, see if he can save the day once more. But I doubt it. This time around, Otto's going to be ready, and I think he's just going to take in the demo man from the side. Like, completely standard. We'll see how the Frenchies decide to try and hold this.
Yeah, I mean, suddenly have the sentry ready. Neo's watching that shutter, maybe catch somebody that's not currently Ubered as that door opens. Ron's right next to it as well. There's the Uber into the sentry. The sentry obviously focused down very quickly, but nobody on the point yet. Sticky's still on the point as well. Nobody has died. Dwo is the only player now finally going down on the side of the Frenchies. And there's Ron's as well, so they're picking up numbers, but Tio, they still have no cap time at all. QB is still up on the heavy as well, laying down a lot of damage. There's a lot of cap time now, though, and nobody steps on the point again.
Af is just hitting all his shots right now. He's doing so much work. Both scouts really are. They are just murdering the poor Frenchies. They're very, very, very good. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
You know, I was putting them down earlier on.
Putting
And
pressure on them. Maybe that's all they needed, a bit of pressure, and
sure, I'll
suddenly.
take credit. I'll take credit. Sure.
Yeah, just you gotta always spin it in a positive manner. Either way, we're into mid-6 already with 13 minutes still left, so it could still very much be anybody's game as we see another quick bomb by the French soldiers here. But it's gonna backfire as both of them go down, and so does the rest of the team. Matter of fact, Patchouli again, the only player left alive, running away,
Oh,
trying
Av
to live
sees
here.
him.
Av has got a target in his sights, and he is going to very much so pick it up as well. Unbelievable. The process appears to be trustable right now. It appears to be trustworthy.
Yep, it's not just Joel Embiid that can trust the process or Philadelphia 76ers. It's also a bunch of random people from random European countries. It works just fine. You just have to pick that name and it'll all work out for you, you know? Like it might not look good in the beginning, but if you just trust the process, you'll find success. Yeah,
Certainly.
that's a good theory,
Yeah,
right?
that's yeah. It's all about the psychology as well. I was gonna say, you know, when you have a long name on the scoreboard, maybe you can push the other name off the scoreboard like that. It doesn't even show up on the screen. So like psychologically, you've already won the war, right? So maybe this is
But then the French
a similar situation,
right? Because
yeah,
then
but obviously that's not working for them right now as they're holding last yet again against an Uber. The sentry taken down. They haven't lost any players yet. There goes QB though, who was trying to snipe from spawn. Again, no cap time yet. There's still stickies, but nobody's there to defend it at all, really. Dwo is there, but they've already lost Alien and Ron's as well. They're lacking so much damage. Patchouli's nowhere near to heal anybody, and that's another round for the process that is to be trusted.
looking very convincing right now. Just completely flaccid defense coming out from the Frenchies. They just don't know what to do. Like, they just get pushed into spawn. They don't have people contesting the point fast enough, and they just park like a scout and a medic on it, and they cap out really, really quickly. So we haven't even gotten to the point where we can like see the spawn towns change in action because they just never push out of last.
Yeah, it's so like the round ends so quickly. Like nobody has really successfully held last yet this entire game, and let's see if this changes this round. But it certainly looks like Tio just have so much momentum right now, and such a buffer as well now. Even if they lost 4 rounds, they'd still only go to a golden cap. Time is going to be of the essence here, and the Frenchies are certainly trying to make it happen as Dwo bombs in again, doesn't quite get what he wants. Now they're losing ground, having to back off again. Again, the process just taking all that ground. Ron's manages to pick up Jordy here. Was a bit extended, but still, that's not going to be enough. They're going to have to be a bit more aggressive if they actually want to have a chance of retaking here. Ron's tries to take the initiative, immediately realizes he's going to walk into 4 people, and instead chooses to just be a bit of a harassment here, a bit of a distraction as the rest of his team walks in through lower. Okay, the Frenchies, they seem like they want to do something here. They want to make something happen. They both have Ubers. They know that. They want to maybe go for a bit of an exchange at mid here. They haven't given up just yet. And it looks like there's some bombs happening as well. Ron's is going to be the first player to pay with his life, though, as Dwo slips in behind as well. So now both missing from the Uber exchange. That is a bit better for the Frenchies here in terms of the Uber. That's going to be Sylv's paying with his life. Hemp's taken down as well pretty much immediately. Dwo is now in behind them, but he doesn't quite get the kills he wants to. Otto's going to, well, somehow still die to a rocket anyway, but, you know, never mind, I guess. I don't know what's happening. It's a bit of a mess, but...
Yeah, like he was kind of caught in some area, but I really like how the French, they were very clearly pushing the issue. I think they know they're really far behind. It's like, no, we need to push and try to do something, and maybe even just do things a little bit differently. And it's really working out for them. Like, they get rewarded right away with a big Uber advantage push coming in here until last. It's not that big of an advantage, so they need to be pretty diligent with building the Uber and actually getting in there in time, but I'm sure they know that, and they're going to make it just in time. So they're about to come in here on right, and there's a sniper watching on the right side, and other than that, is a pretty standard hold coming in here from Tio.
Yeah, I mean, they have that sentry, they have everything where it belongs. That's the Uber coming in. They're not even going to bother with the sentry, actually, considering it's quite far back. It's not that big of a problem. Alien does manage to spam it down eventually. They're going to pick up Derpy, but they lost both of their soldiers already. Again, it's looking pretty decent for Tio on the hold here. They've lost Jordy as well, but they do have App up on the heavy as well. This man has been hitting all his shots. Let's see, he's certainly continuing the tradition on heavy as well. Putting on a lot of damage. There goes Sylvs, though. It's still looking good for the Frenchies. They have a player advantage here. If they can get that heavy off the point, if they can keep Derpy occupied, they could have done something. Naturally, it's not going to happen when Otto gets an Uber and pushes you out again. But Let's see how far they have to actually run away, the Frenchies. They might be able to meet up with their team again, at least hold on to mid. That looks to be the case for now,
Yeah.
as Tio picks up second. Okay.
Yeah, not unfortunately the equalizing round that they were hoping for, but hey, they did a good try here. They're about to have another Uber advantage here, and they could come in. Like, I don't see people spotting close to this corner, so they can just use on them pretty early on and just get some picks, and maybe that's going to work. There's going to be a big bomb in here onto Otto. Otto's kind of caught in. Yeah, he is not getting out there, getting chased down, and these Ubers, they're kind of working for the Frenchies right now. They just need to get all the way into last. That's the final missing piece here.
Yeah, they just need to be able to actually complete the last push in its entirety to its conclusion. That being said, this might even be a good dry push, considering there's still 2 players down that just now spawned. There's a bit of cap time already. I mean, that's gonna be a heavy you're gonna run into though. Av picking up 2 quick kills. There's gonna be Stills with a 3rd one as well, so maybe a little bit too slow or a bit too eager for the Frenchies there, as Jordy's gonna try to maybe just follow up here, clean up some space. I mean, oh my goodness. Alien sent back to the mothership. He is not going home tonight.
Predicted with ease. Like, that was such a prediction shot. That was like an MG dirty prediction shot. I love that. Absolutely murdered. Wow. The Frenchies, they're going to come in here and try and get revenge on them still. And oh my god, him was just completely overextends. Luckily, Derpy was going to be able to pipe down Neo, so it's going to take the pressure off quite a bit here. They're going to have some extra time to put on the defense on last. There's no sentry or heavy or anything on last right now, but Ubers are even.
And that's probably enough to just hold off the back of. The longer the Frenchies stake here, the more time Tio has to set up. Not to mention, with 6.5 minutes left and 4 rounds that they have to pick up if they want to take it to a golden cap, it's starting to look into the realm of mathematical, impossibility. So the Frenchies really have to pick up the pace now if they even want to have a chance of taking home Snakewater tonight. And as it stands, that was an exchange that nothing happened during at all, so I just completely ignored it entirely as the dry push comes in from the right side now. But they've already lost 4 players with only Alien and Dwo remaining. It's a bit rough. It's a bit rough. Derpy already has a eye set on Dwo here. Might actually have to pay with his life. No, Alien gets picked up in the lobby in the meantime. Dwo managed to actually escape. But
yeah, I'm happy that we're getting some failed last pushes, because I was beginning to think that we were going to have to tell people that Snakewater is just too easy to push last on. Like, that would be dumb if we sat here and told people that, right? Like, it's actually really difficult. And Trusted Process, they are doing a very good job of it. They're trying to bomb in everything onto Auto, but Silvers is just murdering everyone as they come in one by one. Frenchies, I kind of feel like they've given up. Yeah, they've even typed in concede. I think ETF2L got rid of that, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, it's reasonable, though. Yeah, I mean, mathematically, they cannot possibly win or even tie up at this point, so I guess they might as well just lose the round and take it to the win difference as the Uber comes in from Tio. They picked up a Patchouli already, so even if they use there, they're going to keep up the advantage, keep up the ante, just pick up frags for the logs. Alien and Ron's... Well, Alien is Pyro in lower, with nobody actually coming to meet him, so...
Superior class.
Yeah, looks like he's going to accomplish absolutely nothing, and there you go! There's the round!
GG. Yeah, they couldn't concede, so they just kind of threw their last round. I don't blame them. That's
fair
fine.
Enough. That's
Let's
fair.
move on to the next map, which is going to be clear cut. And again, we saw yesterday with the Polish team getting rolled 5-0, and then they won clear cut, so... Don't write off the Frenchies just yet, because hey, maybe they just really been doing some map talks on clear cut, or maybe they just haven't figured out perfectly. But I will say they played this very passive style, which didn't really seem to work out at all. It just at some point it really just felt like Trusted Process. They just kind of sat back for a while, and then they just chip damage down a little bit, and then they went aggressive, and then at that point the Frenchies just collapsed on basically every mid or every fight. So it's just being unable to handle the aggression at some point kind of suggests to me that you shouldn't be doing your big defensive mids or big defensive fights.
you could tell that the game turned around for them a little bit towards the end there, right? When they started to be a bit more aggressive, suddenly they were actually finding themselves on the processes last again, something that they hadn't for like half the game, right? So as soon as they decided to not be as passive, to actually take a bit of initiative and push a bit by themselves, suddenly, what do you know? They actually had a bit of a chance towards the tail end. Obviously, they couldn't quite fulfill it. Let's look at these numbers in the meantime, and it shows that one of these teams was quite dominant.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
interesting to me how every time that a mid was won, that team also won the round.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's usually like there's a big correlation, but it's not perfect in any way, and sometimes, like especially when the match is pretty slow, there's no correlation at all, basically. But yeah, here's just perfect, and like it's obviously most exemplified by the first two rounds, maybe even the first three. But yeah, just once you lost that momentum, there's just no coming back in this game. It seems. So hey, maybe it's good we're going to cough, right? Or maybe they're just going to sit on mid the entire time and never lose it once you win the mid fight.
I mean, it is possible. It is an entirely different game mode. It is an entirely different map, entirely different, you know, story. And also, I've just been told, apparently nobody on the Twitch chat predicted that Trust the Process would win. Only like
Wow,
1% of points were put into Trust the Process. So I think whoever voted for them is feeling very happy for their internet points right now.
you're Twitch
They're gonna
rich.
they're paid out with a ton of points. But yeah, it's not much else to glean from the logs when it's this one-sided. I mean, obviously you see one team popping off and the other one, trying to make do with what they've got. But it is more interesting to me how clear cut is gonna go.
Oh yeah. I will say, like, it's kind of disturbing how the Frenchies only won that one quick round off of the mid fight, and then they
Hmm.
just never were able to get a last push going, which just seems to suggest to me that they have poor coordination, which you
Like
would
something
think is not the
collapsed.
case. Yeah, right. Like that shouldn't be the case with a team that's this. Like they're one of the most stable teams, so yeah, I don't understand. Like, but yeah, like I think the most impressive player to me was Af. Af was just
Oh yeah.
killing it the entire time. Was playing it to perfection, and like, just that very calm Finnish scout aim, just chewing players up. Very very strong
Something
scout
that
play.
they're renowned for somehow. It's the cold, I'm telling you. They're always cool headed, you know? Funny pun. Um anyway, let's talk about the elephant in the room. A map that nobody knows a thing about. It's been
Yes.
played last week? Maybe? No, this is the first week it's even played, right? Yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah.
this and next week. So I'm obviously gonna assume the teams have been scrimming this map. Otherwise why are you even playing, right? Are you throwing, I guess? But I do find it interesting to just theorize what the strategies here are, because the only strategy I know is that there's two big towers around mid, and soldiers love jumping off of them. And
Yep.
there's like two little sheds with roofs that soldiers love to stand on top of, and medics love to stand inside of. And that's it. But there's
Yeah.
this big valley area behind as well.
Like, and a big addendum to those two towers that soldiers jump off of. There's also two medkits, two medium medkits behind lines, on one on each side, and those are so good for soldiers to jump around on. Like, you want to
Hmm.
land on that medkit, so it's actually really difficult to chase soldiers down when they jump behind. I think, like, there's not really an easy way to deal with that soldier. You just kind of have to like raw DM him, and you often don't want to do that. So if a soldier jump behind, you kind of probably just leave him. I love that they're feeding themselves into the saw right now, by the way, in pregame. Just jumping into the saw.
I forgot that there's a map hazard on this map,
Yeah. It makes
even
me
if it
think
is
that
just,
they've never. Yeah. It makes me think they've never played the map, right? Because the first time you play a map, this is what you do, right? You jump into
yeah,
the hazard over and over again. They are really, really efficiently
creating
feeding
a
themselves.
pile of bodies in the other corner.
Oh, God. Oh, this is
It's
horrifying.
a massacre. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Also, just to talk about uh, like general map theory is the bunker, standing inside. If you put your medic in there and you just put big bodies in the way, like soldiers and demo men, it's very difficult to get to the medic.
Hmm.
So I wonder how much we're going to see that because eh, like it seems to me like you cannot hold like aggressively on this map. There is a forward hold according to Brentland, but I've never seen it used. So it's
It's
almost
I think
always standing far back.
it's gonna be harder than on product, because like all the choke points are way larger on this map, right? Like it's way harder to hold.
Yeah,
Say the valley side is so wide open. Like you can send a soldier over easily over top. Like it's almost impossible to really hold that side effectively. Like the other, like center and like the tower side, sure, those are like some smaller doors. You can spam those decently easily. But the big valley side is so open, you cannot possibly hold that with even like 2 or 3 people, because like a soldier can just jump over and completely tear up your backline. So it's gonna be quite tough to hold aggressively, which means it's gonna be quite easy for teams that are aggressing to smuggle somebody in.
yeah. Like if you want to hold forward, you have to be all the way over where like the three entrances goes into the yard, so to speak, right? And that's really far
Hmm.
forward. So I don't think you can't really hold that very aggressively. So at most you just kind of stand there to make sure they don't just easily walk out, but it's just a delay tactic. It's not like a proper hold because at some point someone's going to sneak past, and then you have to retreat all the way back to mid. And if you just look at how far you have to retreat before you're back on your own side of mid, like that's a really long distance.
Not to mention how wide that yard area is, right? Like
Yeah,
two of the doors are quite close, you can watch those easily, but then you like your flank that's watching the other one is going to be so disconnected, and if they get caught off, you're going to have a rough time.
yeah, absolutely. All right. Oh, I love this. Did QB rage quit?
Maybe.
I mean,
It looks
Juxta's
like
in the game.
Juxta's coming in, I guess. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
All
maybe this
right.
is what they needed. Just get in
Maybe.
Juxta. Like get in the medic main to play scout. Why not? This this might work out for
Interesting.
them.
All right. I mean, I'm not gonna like think or theorize what's going on with the comms there, or who's not having a good day. But it looks like Juxta's gonna jump in for QB for clear cut. So I just want to see the map played. Like I just want to see people play it, even if it's gonna be a bit of a strange one. You know, just play, please. That's kind of you.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have I have seen it quite a bit in North America and Australia, and I can't wait to see if there's any difference in the way that it's played. Right, like I assume it's going to be slightly less refined just because it's the first week, but man, maybe we're just smarter than those guys. Maybe we
Maybe
figure out how to break the map somehow. That's
just
always
solve
what
it
I love.
instantaneously. Uh, you've run the calculations, you've run the numbers. I found the perfect algorithm to winning on this map, like for every possible situation. It only took like 5 minutes, honestly. Like it's not even that hard. I don't
I
know.
can
It's just like I'm just
I
like
can
built different.
share the secret. The secret is Liberty Launcher, right? Because you just
Oh.
jump up into the air, and then with the fast rockets, you're not gonna miss them. And you
Hmm.
also have extra rockets to jump with, and you take less damage. So it just makes perfect sense. It's like those really long distances is what Liberty Launcher is made for. And I'm just kidding. It's bad. Don't do it, kids. Don't listen to
Hmm.
me.
Remember when that was like at some point, like when it was first added, it was kind of like basically just a straight upgrade from stock, kind of like the degreaser.
Oh
And then
yeah, yeah, yeah.
they were like, "Yeah, we should probably like balance this weapon a little bit." And then now it's kind of bad.
Oh
that's
yeah.
that's
It was
fun.
so disgusting when it had three rockets and was just a faster rocket launcher. Like you just never miss with that. It was so disgusting. It was like just actually the best
It
weapon in
was
the
it
game.
was it was the soldier's lock and load, basically. Think about it that way. I'm still mad about what they did to that weapon, by the way. Why the hell did
Uh,
they give it 3 shots?
Yeah,
Like, what was that decision?
it's because they double load the top barrel. Obviously, that's how it works, right?
Well, I mean, I guess if you're going to talk from the animation, he loads everything into the same barrel anyway, but, like,
Still,
come
there's
on,
two
man.
barrels on it, so yeah,
Come
it
on,
pisses me
dude.
off that they never updated the animation. I mean, I guess the normal pipe launcher has like 6 in it, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I'm
it's
dumb.
the
Never
great
mind.
things we've come to live with at this point. Either
I
way, it looks like
retract
we're
it. I
actually going to
retract it all.
play. Yeah, we're going to play the game. That's what matters. Frenchies subbing in Juxta for QB as they're going to try to take clear cut. Let's see if it goes any differently as the first mid fight is going to commence. Both teams obviously just opting to look at each other for now. No soldiers going for that tower jump just yet. Dwo's actually going to wrap around onto the outer roof, gets cleaned up by Jordy though, who's immediately going to jump in deep. Doesn't quite get what he wants though. Patchouli is going to be out of harm's way very quickly. Sylves also cannot get where he wants to get sniped by Neo, who gets cleaned up by Af, but Af is going to trade with Jux though, effectively. Sylves is now in deep behind. Manages to actually pick up Ron's. It's cleaned up by Juxta though. It's still a back and forth, but it looks like Buster Process are gonna be the first to cap mid here, potentially. Yes, they did. Okay, they did.
Yeah,
Immediately
very,
re-aggressing the Frenchies.
yeah, very tentative first mid here. Like Neo died because he kind of misjumped a bit. Neo, by the way, is just in deep. It's just ramp
He's
plus
keeps going forward. Yeah, he does
so
not
hard.
stop. He's fighting Sylves, and he obviously wins those. Now he's gonna go up against Derpy, and unfortunately eats the pipe, but he had a chance there. If he hit a meat shot, that could have gone very differently. Jordy, in the meantime, doesn't quite get to tear up the team as he wants to, so he's going to be cleaned up
They're
as
doing the bunker
well.
hold.
And the Frenchies, yeah, they cap point. They now bunker themselves up in that little shed. I mean, Alien is stickied up completely in there. And actually, they've decided they want to move out a little bit, you know, just to see when enemies are actually gonna approach them. And obviously, the process that we're supposed to trust in, are gonna try to do that. They're gonna come from the tower side. They're gonna send in Derpy very deep into the bunker, who gets
soldiers in
immediately
from
just
behind.
mulched. Both soldiers in from behind. They get destroyed by Rons as well. And at some point in there, they also managed to kill Hampus. I don't even know when that happened.
Yeah, this is
Man.
a very important thing to note is that, like, soldiers jumping that far up, they can just loop in behind and come in through the back entrance, and that one was not covered. So that was just an easy force on Patchouli. Actually, they're going to pop out now, and they're not quite going to be able to... I don't know, I was going to say they can't get to Patchouli, but they probably could have, but they end up not to. Dro's definitely dead. He's going to go down. So this point is just changing hands right now, but I want to say the Frenchies, they got away with that pretty well.
They got off surprisingly well, all things considered. They're gonna have a 40% ad, depending on how well they build here. Even if they did lose the point, they certainly have a good chance to come back. And they're a minute ahead on time right now, so they can take their time a little bit as well. Ron's is gonna jump in deep, immediately met by 3 people though. Besides that, he's probably gonna just have to die instead. Neo and the rest of the team come in to try and maybe help out a little bit. Juxta's gonna get cleaned up by Af though. And that's going to be probably enough French players that they're going to have to back up again. Wait out in Valley here a little bit. And, wait, no, they're going to use their Uber, actually. But Julius decided he doesn't want to let his entire team die and maybe try to take the point off the back of it. They don't kill anybody, but they do take the point. Is that worth it when you're now 70% down? That's a tough thing to say. Ron's is certainly going to try to jump in deep again. Doesn't quite get anywhere. He gets completely demolished.
Medic was
but
down, though.
in the
That's so
meantime...
huge.
Juxta uses the distraction, picks up Auto. Now they just have to keep Patchouli alive, and they certainly didn't do a good job of that as Af just slips past. And actually, still lives, by the way. Still alive. And there you go, he's finally dead. I was about to say, like, he almost won that fight against Neo. That would have been quite scary.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, it wasn't quite a fight versus Neo. It was like a fight against Neo and Dwo. So makes it a lot more difficult there. But both medics going down means that we're basically reset him. So it's just going to be another push here with the spawn advantage going to trust the process. So they are moving up across the point. It's up to the Frenchies to actually come out here and try and block it.
Yeah, they're gonna do that as the point is about 3/4 of the way done. They're edging out a bit more cap time as well. Hampus just stepping on every once in a while, basically not getting contested at all. Just edging out that point. Af taking a bit of cap time, Jordy taking a bit of cap time. They're so close. Frenchie's still managing to push them off every once in a while, obviously. But For the time being, they hang on to the point. They have 20 seconds left on the clock. There's the Uber out of auto. Patchouli isn't close to his yet, and he's so far back that obviously the rest of his team is going to have to back up as well, just so they don't die. Now they're going to be able to regress with their own Uber immediately from the tower side. These TO players are scattering like rats, scurrying away, trying to see if they can live. Hempus is going to be, looks like, the only player to die to that, surprisingly. Dwo has managed to slip in behind. He does get onto Sylves as well. Jordy's going to now engage the fight and win that one. As Ron's bombs in deep onto the combo, but a nice surf by Otto is going to barely let him escape. The timer is still ticking down for the Frenchies, and they have this point under an iron crypt. Unbelievable.
Just slowly chokes out Trust the Process there. Really strong defense, and maybe that's just what you needed. Just have the enemy team just feed into you over and over again. Really felt like they were finding their footing there, but hey, this was only the first round. Still plenty of time here for Trust the Process to come back. You know,
yeah,
it's a process.
Obviously.
Just gotta trust it.
It's the process that has to be trusted. Do remember, they didn't immediately start off strong. They won the first round on Snakewater, but they lost one immediately after, so they might be a bit slow to start. Let's see how they handle the second round here as Jordy jumps in behind. He's going to be engaged by Dwo in the meantime. So they're going to be having... Well, it's basically just a change for Rons here, who's also slipped in behind and actually got out again. Scot-free, by the way, as Jordy got killed. So now it's a numbers advantage for the Frenchies. They pick up Sylves as well. And the process has to back up because they are going to get mulched. There goes Derpy, taken down as well. They do have an Uber, and there was a Neo just poking for a split second, seeing if he could maybe get onto that mid. Unfortunately, it didn't happen.
He was thinking about running into 4 people there.
Yeah.
Just like, I can take him.
He would have done that. He would have done that. I think he was... I can imagine there was some calm that was like, no, Neo, come back. You're not going to do that. You're going to die. We're going to wait for the exchange as is going on now. Otto gets launched across the map and actually escapes completely safely. Nobody dying. Alien the first to die after the exchange, but it's quickly met by just trades left and right. No scouts for Process here. It's going to make pretty hard to defend against any form of bombs coming in. Dwo is still up on the field, so he could make something happen. Sylves is on the mid, but Dwo is doing such a good job protecting. Juxta is there to clean it up. They're still going to hold on to that point. A minute down on the timer already. Trusted Process haven't even gotten close to it yet. As I say that, a bit of cap time, but you know. Ooh. They managed to pick up Juxta and Alien immediately. They lose Otto though. Dwo has managed to slip past.
Oh my god, Patchouli survived.
Oh my god.
There was a rocket chasing him, and it was like a millimeter from getting around the corner, but it just barely did. So Patchouli's going to survive this again. You see they're holding off on capping up the point here. Just waiting for Jordy and Otto to come back in here. But eventually they are going to cap it out. But Frenchies, they're not really going to get punished as far as the respawners go. Not yet, at least. So they're going to come in here with the Uber ad. They just need to not lose their medic before it really kicks in. And they should be good to go to recap this.
Yeah, well, let's see when they decide to use it. Neo going dangerously low there before
it's being
healed up again.
Auto,
There's the Uber. Oh, crits on Auto. That's going to be interesting if they manage to hang on to it. Because they're certainly trying to go for him. They're going deep with all that they've got. Neo is tearing up a bit of players here as well. Managed to pick up Jordy. But Otto lives, and he's going to have those crits ready any second now. There they are. They have someone to use it on in Sylves as well. I mean, they could just use the scattergun as well. They're going to tear up some players here. That's 2 down already. And, I mean, none of those were even crit kills. So, honestly, it was more of an intimidation play, if anything. Actually, no, they were. They just didn't show up as crits.
Yeah, it might not have been enough. So, Frenchies, they're about to come back in here. Nice pick there from Rons. Going to take down Hempus, and they're going to just continue to move in here. And Demo Man gets isolated, taken down. Great soldier play coming out here from Rons. Doing so much work, just a lone man out front, tip of the spear kind of action for him. And that's a retake. And now Otto is stuck on this crit streak. He might just have to go back and change, but I guess they're going to give him one more chance. But, you know, Patchouli, he's so ready for it, and he has Uber now.
Well, maybe there's only one chance they have here. They really have to get that perfect sticky off somehow. Nope, there's the Uber already. They're not even going to let it come to that. Otto has used the crits, but they're not going to be able to do anything. Derpy gets taken down, Af taken down, Otto taken down as well. They managed to pick up Neo and Dwo, but it's only Sylves, and It looks like Hemp is left in the fight. Okay, there's Jordy as well. He did escape my vision for a second, but none of them have any heals at all. Meanwhile, Alien and Juxta can just tank up on the point, and that's exactly what they're doing because they're still ahead on time as
Yeah,
well.
respawn wave about to come in here, though. I think Frenchies are just going to have to give up this point because they don't have enough players to really contest this properly. They have got a few more players now getting in here. Neo's going to just get his head immediately dumped by a cold bucket of water. Oh my god, Silver's hit a big air shot on Dwo. Really big job there, and at this point, Neo's just going to have to run out with Patch.
Absolutely, and they're going to escape for the time being as well. Ubers are still even, so this is very much still possible. If you're looking at the times, you're seeing the Frenchies are still very well ahead. Trusted Presses are going to have to hold this for 1.5 more minutes, and that is a long time on a King of the Hill map, especially when you consider that technically a round can go on forever with overtime taken into account, and the Frenchies are going to immediately actually use their Uber, maybe even just force out the exchange. There's the force out of Otto. Obviously, he's going to have a way better Uber. Alien is actually just going to get juggled, hovered by the scouts, taken down by Af, but Otto gets nuked down by Ron, so even if this was a horrible push attempt for the Frenchies, Patchouli just now dying very late as well. They did get auto, so they can still equalize it anyway with the next attempt. They still have a lot of time to work with.
Yep, absolutely. They just need to really come in here and just immediately recap this with superior heals. I think that's going to be enough to get them out here because no one has very much health right now and trust the process, but hey, they're kind of taking it a little bit slowly. That's going to mean that they're going to have to facing full health players. Ron's going to jump in behind. Joe's going to jump into the head of them, and Silver's actually going to trade with Ron's there. Joe's going to come in forward, and I think the Frenchies are slowly winning out here.
Yeah, they're certainly like winning a bit of a war of attrition. It's still evenly matched. But they have taken down Af, who was the major killer. There's Derpy taken out as well. Now they're lacking a lot of damage. The crits are in play again by Otto. He manages to die instead and not get any use out of them, as Patchouli actually also used crits, so this was just a mirror crits matchup. But it went better for the Frenchies as they take the second round.
Yep, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Well, almost. They have 30 seconds left, but it's looking quite dominant right now, that's for sure. Trusted Brothers are gonna have to. They're gonna have to somehow get back to that point in time here. They're certainly picking up frags right now. 3 down already. Rolling forward, just the machine. They're actually gonna take the round. Alien is the only one left in behind. He's not gonna be able to do anything. There's a bit of damage, but Rons couldn't take down anybody on the point. Patchouli tries to kill Otto with an arrow just for the BM. They managed to do it.
1-1. We're equalized. We're back. That was a very close round, but trust the process. Just putting their faith in it. They're getting some results for it. Very back and forth. Eventually just clutching out. A bit too much time on the clock there for the Frenchies to just barely get it out there. Pretty funny that we got both teams going for crits there. I really like that. Ron's going to jump behind as well. There's actually like just a scout sitting behind lines waiting for him. And
They've expected that by now, but Dwo is going to nuke down Derpy in the meantime and just walk forward. Actually chasing after Otto right now. It's not a favorable fight for a medic to be in, and he's going to be taken down. Dwo doing an amazing job here. Almost managing to trade for another kill against Af there as well. Was left quite low, managed to back out the fight in time before dying. But my lord, a lot of work done by Dwo there. Rons is going to move forward with his team now again. He is that tip of the spear. He loves just prodding forward so aggressively. Just being a nuisance, being a distraction, and it's working out well for them so far. Frenchies are going to take the mid for the first round here, and obviously they're going to have a massive Uber ad to write home about as well. They're going to try to keep that alive as they're bunkered up immediately. Sylvs manages to slip in behind. He gets in behind on the bunker as well. Patchouli already used the Uber though, trying to just catch out these process players. They manage to pick up Jordy, they pick up Derpy as well. Alien gets taken down by Af, and that's a dangerous foe to be looking down.
Otto's on 90 crits, by the way. It's still crits.
Oh.
Patch just went down. Okay, they might just go forward now and try and surprise them with the crits. Like, this is a good time to go to spawn and crits it. Okay, buddy. Alright, see you later.
Okay. Yeah, I think Silva's having like a great time with air shots today. He's just hitting a lot of them. He's shooting those French players out the sky. Anti-air is in play, and Silvs is doing a good job at it. Yeah, they're gonna have these crits ready. Patchouli is still on stock Uber, and this is going to be interesting because they might very well not be aware this is a crits. There's a good chance that they don't expect this to be a crits. They obviously expect it to be a full charge. So as you can see, the Frenchies are being, you know, passive. Yeah, okay, for a sec. There's another air shot. Alien taken down together with Af. There's the crits though. They're gonna just tear up the entire team. Patchouli might escape.
Oh
maybe.
My god!
Oh!
No way!
Derpy!
Wow!
Wow!
They missed. Oh, this is why you need to hit your air shot. Patchouli was so overextended and he survived. Unreal.
Unbelievable. You hate to see it, but he ran out of ammo. He beefed the few pills he had to hit, and that's gonna come back to bite him. Patchouli now up with a bit of an ad here, and it is Uber versus Crits still, unless Auto went back to switch, which I doubt. I didn't really pay attention, but no, he didn't. So yeah, like this is gonna be tough. Frenchies have the point. They're gonna have a full Uber against a full Crit, so unless they can sneak in a sneaky sticky here, it's gonna be very hard for Trust the Process to bust this open. They have to somehow force Patchouli. They're gonna use the crits. They're not gonna hit anything so far. Obviously, the French players are immediately there to aggress. They use their Uber as well. Jordy gets taken down, but the random crit sticky.
He just stood on it for so long. I don't think he saw it. That was so funny. Just random dead on. So that actually means that they're gonna lose enough players that Trust the Process are gonna get out here and actually manage to recap it. They're gonna wait a bit for servers to respawn before they cap it out fully. And they are now at this ad. It is a crits ad, so a little bit different here. That means that you don't even need to go for like the Uber Force. You can just go for the medic kill if you want to do a sack wave.
Straight up, that will work. I mean, a single well-placed sticky, or even some, you know, cross-map scattergun spam will do the job. There's Derpy trying to lay down the pain, but Ron's is in immediately, and he has Otto's number. It takes him down again. That crits immediately cut short. Not to mention, Juxta was there as a backup as well. So, again, it just worked out for them. Trust the Process have the point, but Frenchies have the Uber ad and the time ad. Well, not anymore, never mind. But they still have a very good chance to just retake the point here and hold on to it for so long. As Derpy picks up 2 players with a nice sticky trap. Okay. Nobody checked for that, huh? Like, nobody was looking for that at all. They just ran right into it. That's unfortunate. Frenchies are still going to use their Uber anyway to walk forward here. Alien hits a nice little pipe on the Hempus there. And Jordy can't really deny this point for too long either. The Frenchies are going to retake it. But now they're a minute down, so they're finding themselves in a very similar situation to last round, where they have the point, they have a big diss ad, and in both time and Uber. Otto is still on the crits. He still has not opted to change. Let's see if 15th times the charm, I suppose. He gets piped immediately down to 7 health for a second, I think, or 12. So he's going to be out of it. There goes Dwo, cleans up the kill. So that crits is taken out of the equation. Af taken down as well. They only pick up Alien. Managed to clean up Dwo, who was in behind. And Juxta, who was chasing down as well, trades with Jordy. But still, they're holding on to the point. They have that Uber ad now. Derpy and Sills and Hempus are trying their best here to try and get through this team protecting Patchouli, but they can't really get close. They managed to pick up Neo. Ronz is disconnected from his med as well, but there's the respawners as well. Patchouli has gotten out, and now they really have to try to play, play this timer.
Yeah, the crit is actually working. It's like not really killing people, but it's still working this play for some reason. So Otto's just going to stick to crits. Looks like he's running out. Just running back to try and get out Ron's, and meanwhile Jordy is just keeping everyone busy as the Uber has been popped out. Derpy, he's going to be caught in here, so it is going to be a recap of the point, but they just need to recap it once. And here comes the crit peak. Everyone run.
That's going to be rough, especially when it's already in overtime. You have to get onto point. Dwo manages to slip past, gets onto App. There's another kill onto Hempus as well, but they're going to lose both him and Patchouli. Jordy gets cleaned up by Juxta. But again, there's nobody to actually cap on the point. They're all getting denied. That's the second round for Trust the Process.
Yep, no one able to get onto the point in time. And that's going to be another round. Somehow, without like any fat crits and almost playing perma crits, they still made it work. It just always worked. They just got enough picks and enough space out of the crit streak that it somehow worked out. I'm not quite sure how that works, but it did.
Psychological warfare, I'm telling you. It's all in just psyching out your enemy. That being said, we're on to the next mid-fight. Ron's and Dwo both bombing deep. Jordy's gonna pick up the first of them, and actually also the second of them, so he's trading very favorably for these soldiers right now. He's got a shopping list, and he has filled it out, as Sylves now sends himself in deep behind, gets met with people rotating immediately, but then Jordy's there to
Auto
try and
about to
clean
get
up a little bit
crits,
as well.
by the way. Still just sticking to it.
He's I mean, it's the process that we're supposed to trust, right? Clearly it's been working for them, and it's gonna continue working for them. They have the point, they have the crits. Pachuli's still not close to any Uber of his own. Obviously, once they have it, that's gonna be quite good for them going up against the crits, but it's gonna be quite interesting. They're actually gonna pop very early. They're aware that those crits are gonna be a thing. Naturally, those crits can't do much against shiny players. They still manage to somehow kill Alien, though, as his Uber just about fades. They do pick up auto, but they lose everybody else on the side of the Frenchies. It's Rons and Juxta left to protect their medic. Maybe they can make something happen, but that's a lot of damage you're going up against. Actually, that's a splash by Rons onto App. He gets Derpy as well. It's only Hempus left on the point. He's dodging and weaving. He gets piped down. Okay.
He was just swinging his mouse around him, actually hitting every shot. But yeah, like these like entry Ubers, I don't know. I'm not too sure I like them very much. Like I know they're doing them because they're afraid of the crit streak and getting sniped by them, but like they don't work that well. I know I'm saying that as they actually won out and it made it all make sense in the end, but I really didn't like how that push went. But hey, we're about to have an Uber ad here onto Patchouli, and they're not quite able to hold on to mid cleanly, but they have gotten enough picks that it should be more than possible for them to not get re-rolled again as the respawn wave comes in.
Yeah, they've held off enough people. They can get themselves stocked up here again, and they have that Uber. It's still, you know, yeah, Auto's gonna have the crits, and you're gonna have to watch out for it. But in the case of an exchange, it's always gonna be good for the Uber. You're literally invulnerable. So obviously, Frenchies are looking quite poised here. There's the crits, a nice little sticky onto Neo early, but that's the only thing they're gonna fight as the Uber gets popped off. They managed to lose Dwo as well, actually. So overall, it's actually going decently well. Again, trust the process. They managed to pick up 2 kills with that. Their medic dangerously low. Jordy also having to get healed up, so they're gonna have to wait for a second here, but they have the numbers. Sylves actually gets taken down by Rons. Never mind, it's starting to look like that might not be the case anymore in terms of numbers. They have positioning. That's the only thing they have going for themselves right now, but that's quickly fading as these French players who are a bit healthier come back in as well. Are looking to be winning fights. There's the first kill onto Jordy by Juxta. Rons is obviously going to bomb in deep again. He loves being the spearhead. He's going to just send auto across the mid, and actually just a beautiful rocket by Dwo is going to clean up that kill. So yet again, a wonderful hold by the Frenchies. They're activated.
Yeah, they look like they're really strong, and they need to do so because they're down around. This would be a good time to start getting some wind in your sails. And they have this full Uber ad. I think we're about to see an Uber sack. Do we have the medic sitting in the bunker? No, we have the medic sitting in the corner. I think they're just going for the surprise factor and hoping that they don't know that he's in there because...
Yep, it's working. Literally the entire team went for the bunker and there's nobody there. They all went around for the bunker and they're just getting completely destroyed. What a strategy. It worked out flawlessly. It worked out absolutely flawlessly.
This is how you know they've done map talks and like actually scrimped on the map, right? Because they figured out the meta and they countered the meta. That's great. Like that's not going to work again. So that's just
it probably won't, but that was beautiful to watch. Literally 4 players from TO just all jumping around trying to get to the bunker, and there's like a single scout in there. It's absolutely beautiful. There's the Uber out of both teams, technically. The crits obviously on the side of Trust the Process yet again, but there's little to no cap time. The timer has ticked off, so now Trust the Process have to get onto the point. They managed to take down Patchouli, so there's no heals for the Frenchies, and they're all quite unhealthy, so this could be quite dangerous for them. Neo is pretty much the only player left fighting here. There's Juxta in to maybe try and buy a bit of time, but ultimately this point is going to be capped out by Trust the Process. They're going to be holding onto it for 2 minutes. 2 minutes, that's quite long.
That's very long time. It's possible to do it, but it's going to be one hell of an uphill battle. However, they do have the crits ad here. Not an Uber ad, which would have been better, but they do have the crits ad here, so we might see another sack wave. Sack waves are especially like good when the medic can't save himself. And here comes both soldiers. They're in the skybox. They've actually crits right now, hoping to just catch anyone out that overextends. Alien has been taken down, but I mean, effectively they kind of got what they wanted out of this. They got the pop. And
Yeah, they got rid of the crits. They got that off the table. Now they just have to wait for their own Uber. They still have 80 seconds of time, right? That's a lot of time to work with. So obviously they're going to just wait for their Uber on the side of the Frenchies here. And if they can make this push work, it's going to be good for them. They still have Dwo in behind, and it doesn't look like anybody on TO is even remotely aware of this fact. Matter of fact, he's on auto right now. He manages to kill him, immediately taken out, no heals. Rons takes down Af as well. Alien takes down Derpy. This is the first kill onto Dwo, but he was already in behind anyway. Both soldiers on the point for TO, but both of them very low. And that's going to be the equalizing round for the Frenchies. We're going to a tiebreaker for the map. Oh boy. It's a lot closer than last map, that's for sure.
Yep, will Auto keep doing the perma-crits? The answer is no. He's actually switched to Uber.
Wow.
That's probably a good idea. It really seems like the Frenchies has kind of figured it out now how to deal with it.
No, this is where you go vaccinated, if it's not banned at this point. I don't remember.
Oh, it's so banned. I
really
hope it's banned. I think it's banned.
I don't remember, but that would have been a real, like, brainwave play. Either way, we're into the final round of Clear Cut. And it's going to be interesting to see which team takes home this map tonight, because the Frenchies certainly wouldn't mind taking home some points. And they can use any help that they can get, and Trust the Process can obviously use a sweep. So let's see. Well, I mean, it's just teams, you know, staring each other down, both medics building equal Ubers. This might just turn into an Uber exchange for the mid fight, and at least everything's looking like that right now. Dwo is going to go for a little bit of high jump, doesn't land on anything though, so he's going to just back out again. And, you know, soldiers prodding back and forth, teams looking at each other, nobody even daring to really step on the point at all. A bit of cap time now for TO here. Neither team opting to use the Uber just yet as well. They really want to see if they can space them out here. Rons is going to be the first casualty of this fight. Hempus is going to be able to focus him down, finally with some damage. That might be enough for TO to take some ground on the point here. Dwo goes down as well. Couldn't quite get to where he wants to. Neither can Juxta. This is looking bad for the Frenchies, and TO are doing a great job spacing them out. Finally pushing them back all the way, taking the point. Managed to pick up Alien Smiley as well. They get that first cap.
That was a very long and slow mid. Neither team really wanted to just commit there, and eventually the Frenchy soldiers just go a little bit too far forward and they get punished for them. That's going to be all there is to say for that mid. Both medics, of course, have their Ubers. It's not a crit this time around, so it is just completely even. Soldier has been sent behind lines, so that's usually what's going to signal the beginning of some sort of either sack wave or a push. I mean, Ron's going to make his way in now. Just lands on the medic, but not enough to make him pop.
That being said, Alien in the meantime picks up 2 kills. Picks up both Af and Derpy, so that's a big opening there. At least to equalize the, you know, offset the loss of your soldiers, and they have the fastest spawns to work with on the side of the Frenchies as well, so it might be enough for them to take the point. They already have a lot of cap time, they have a lot of positioning. There's the Uber out of auto, actually. Obviously, Patchouli responds with his own as he goes dangerously low, but the exchange is in favor of the Frenchies, and it's certainly looking pretty good for them so far. They managed to pick up Hempus as well. They still haven't quite capped out the point yet. They finally do it after about a minute has passed. Jordy is going to pick up Neo here before dying himself. It's still not that stable for the Frenchies. They have the point. They're down 2 players now, and Trust the Process are an aggressive team. They're going to pick up Dwo, who's overextended here as well. Patchouli can only do so much to keep his players alive. Alien is going to try his best to maybe the ladies players for a while, but they're going to immediately retake that point again. It's only been 28 seconds. That's not a lot of time to cut down when it's the final round.
Indeed. Ubers are basically, even there's a lot of spam coming in here. It's actually a pretty cool. Yeah, pretty cool pause here. It's you can really see that spam position of both red soldiers just on top of that house.
My lord.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, right? Like this, I remember back when this map was like in alpha or whatever. Like it was a very different map. But like it was a big problem that you couldn't get into to mid because people would just sit on that roof and just spam down at you as you entered, and you really could only enter through that left side, and it was just so bad to enter from. So that's not really a problem anymore. But like, this is, you can kind of see what the issue was back then, right? Like, this is a good area to spam from. There's a bit of a bleed over there from that early concept. Just that the rest of the map is balanced still. but yeah, it's still a very strong position to have both soldiers up there and spam it out, and then when they eventually run out of rockets and they get pushed back, they just jump to their own roof or some other place, and they can heal up and reload, and they're back in the fight. And they've made it a lot more difficult for the enemy team to actually enter mid, because it's very uncomfortable to just walk into that double soldier spam.
This is interesting as well, because we're 90 seconds behind, right? So this pause, basically, like, assuming that there was no cap change, this pause happened very close to Tio's timer hitting 0. Which means that it almost certainly has to be a Frenchie pause. They're probably, like, desperately trying to do something here. Apparently it's actually because Sylves is lagging. Maybe Tio want to make sure that they actually hang on to the point here. Either way, given that they're assuming there was no change, you know, in cap, this could be interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was Juxta that rage quit as well, but I guess not. But I'm sort of wondering, how do you think this push is gonna go? Because you can always see Rons is in there, Aliens in there. They seem to have dodged the first level of spam, whereas Patchouli has not quite made his way around the corner yet.
Yeah, Patchouli's he's quite disconnected as well. I mean, he's got 3 players ahead to hook onto, but he might, like, depending on when he turns the corner, he's gonna get hit by at least a rocket, maybe 2, plus, you know, whatever else will be sent his way. Derpy is far back, but you can lob stuff over that roof as well. So it's gonna be interesting, depending on how well Rons and maybe Neo can grab positioning here. Considering Neo seems to only really be visible to Af right now. He's the only one really taking him in his sight, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to tell. It's really hard to tell. Like, this is definitely a bad position for the Frenchies. Ubers wise, they're obviously equal. So worst case, even if they lose a couple players here, Patchouli can back off, meet up with, you know, Duo and Juxta who are behind, and try to lift. There's the unpause, actually, so let's see how it unfolds. Never mind, that's just a quick unpause for a reconnect or something, maybe? I don't know.
Probably, yep.
Never mind, I suppose, but we've gotten a little update. The next frame of the PowerPoint presentation has been revealed to us, and it looks like, well, Tio's soldiers have actually both opted to back off the roof, because they're scared of Neo. Neo is running them down, they're terrified. So, he's now in a prime position to not only get shot in the face by a rocket by Jordy, but also Af is still up there to contest him, plus there's a sticky flying his way. So he might very well be mincemeat in a second. But him just pushing players off that roof is already opening up a lot of ground for his team, right? So
yeah, like that's what you wanted to do as those soldiers, right? Like, they only have 4 rockets each, and you can't really commit to it because it's that slope roof where you just get spammed off at some point. But it's really good to spam out, but then you do need to retreat. You can see that, I said jump to your own roof, but they are gonna jump into a little more secluded areas where Jordy's gonna sit down in the corner, and the other soldier's gonna be with their medic. So Frenchies, they have now made their way in. We are on pause, baby, as Frenchies just taking a lot of space. But here comes the counter aggression in here from the red soldiers, and they're not really having a whole lot of success. Jordy goes down almost immediately, just gets denied super hard. Ronch is now at that top position, just being able to spam down. And both soldiers actually jump behind, kind of crisscrossing each other, going in here.
Mm-hmm. But that's not going to matter that much when the exchange is happening on point. Now you're just kind of like the soldier out of the fight. Rons manages to meet up back with his team, fortunately, and they even cap off the point. Very, very important here, naturally, as they are lacking quite a lot of time on the Frenchies. They have to hold on to this point now. They have to block this point for as long as they can. Obviously, my timers are bugged, so I don't know exactly what they are at. I can always peek over the stream real quick. It's certainly not looking good for the Frenchies, especially considering they're already halfway to losing the point again as we speak. Trusted Pros are just putting on so much pressure. Nobody but Frenchies really contesting the point at all. I mean, they're losing players a little bit, obviously, but they're still up the player and positioning advantage so far. They can try to retake immediately is what they're doing. Uber on the side of Otto, probably on the side of Patchouli, soon to be. Potentially. It's a bit up on Otto, is what I meant to say. I'm getting a bit scrambled here. Okay, it's slowed down. It's slowed down. Thankfully.
Yeah. It's about 50 seconds on Tio's clock and 1 minute and 50 on the Frenchies clock. So it's a minute to make up for here for the Frenchies. Ubers are completely even. No one is dead right now. And it's actually just going to be an Uber through here with a scout and a soldier very aggressively through. They do get Neo, but it's a very late pop from Patchouli coming in here.
Yeah, he's very far back, but they are going to be able to cover all that ground that they lost immediately with the Uber as well. And being up that, or at least equal in terms of players here, I mean, a scout for a soldier is probably favorable on a map that is as soldier-friendly as this one. But maybe it's not going to be enough. They still aren't blocking the point, and they still lost it yet again. Trust the process, keeping it alive for them. Dwo can't quite get that rocket onto auto that he is so looking for either. So they're just doing a great job at shutting down these French sacks right now. And Frenchies are going to have to really get to that point soon, because you're starting to look at a rough time here if you don't get back on there immediately. Like, if you give any second here that you give Tio now is going to be a rough one. Rons has slipped in behind again. He's already been found, but he might still be able to get onto auto. Doesn't quite get what he wants, unfortunately, yet again. But it's still going to be so tough to tell. I mean, Ubers are equal. They're going to go for an exchange. Patchouli is the first to pop. Obviously, auto responds with his own. It's just going to be a back and forth. Neo gets picked up by Jordy, and that's going to be it for the time being in the Uber exchange. Then the Frenchies are crumbling yet again towards the end of the Uber here. Just so much good cleanup by Tio, and that's enough to keep them off the point.
Yeah, great play there by Tio, just using the clock to their advantage, knowing that the Frenchies have to engage and just playing it really passive there, making sure the enemy team comes into them. Very nice win. I can't remember if they get 3 points out of this or if this counts as a golden cap win, but either way, winning both maps against a very good French team. Hey, this French team really struggling this season. And trust the process, they get a cap in their feather. Feather in their cap. That's the one.
Well, yeah, you got it right, kind of, at the end.
Maybe it's really small hat and a very large feather.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah,
Shut
exactly.
up.
They're picking up. Either way, trust the process. Finally picking up some points for the season. Let's hope they can continue it, because their next match is against Witness Gaming. But there's a process to be trusted here. Clearly, it's been working for them so far, and we're looking at a playoff contender here. That's for sure. Let's quickly, just because it has to be done, like, there's no contract that I ever signed, but I feel like it's a contractual obligation anyway to look at logs. So let's look at some quick numbers. This was a much closer match, as is evident, because we didn't have like a win differential, right? So
Yeah.
that helps.
Yeah. I don't know. It's very difficult to say much from these logs. Like, they feel... You can kind of tell that everyone was dying all the time, right? Like, no one has a significant positive KD, really. I guess Hempus has 31 kills and 16 deaths. That's the biggest outlier, but almost everyone has pretty equal kills deaths, with, like, soldiers having slightly lower and scouts having slightly higher. But yeah, just lots of idiots jumping in and dying and getting picked off by scouts. And then then also the scouts getting picked off again. So
just a lot of second, but a lot of damage being done. Yeah, very, very even, very close towards the end. Frenchies not being able to quite keep up the pressure again, almost as we talked about during Snakewater as well. Maybe a bit too passive. There were a lot of occurrences just throughout the rounds as well, where they would almost not block the point at all. Right? They had like 4 players trying to defend the point, just like chipping away instead of like stepping on the point for a second to block the cap or something like that. Or just a little bit too passive, maybe, for those caps, and that's probably what spelled doom at the end of the day. But congratulations either way. Trust the process. They figured something out, and apparently it's running crits for half of the map. That's the process.
Yeah, do that until it doesn't work anymore. That's the process. And then, to their credit, they stopped doing it. They didn't just get in their own heads. I guess the one stat that actually jumps out at me now that I've had a bit more time to look into it, Auto died 13 times on that map, and Patchouli died 5 times, and Auto's team won. So
yeah,
I don't understand.
But I think most of those deaths were during a crit being used. Like
It might
they
be,
would
yeah.
use the crits. Like Derpy would fire off like one sticky that doesn't obviously like it's got a low chance of actually finding a target to begin with, and then Ron's or Dwo just like jumped in from behind immediately killing Otto. And I think that's
Yeah.
like where at least like 2/3 of his deaths were from during that match. But yeah, that's going to be it for this match overall, I believe. Um, and for this week of ETF2L, I guess we'll be back next week. You got any shoutouts you want to do, Peter? I'm
Yeah,
stumbling over my words.
I have a demo call on ETF12, so if you happen to like murder a poor demo man in a official match or something, Jordy, there's like a demo call that you can just submit your stuff to, right? And anyone can do it. It just has to be from an official match. It's on ETF12. You can see it on the front page on the right side. And then obviously there's going to be, actually not so obviously, maybe there's not going to be another match in this Sunday. I don't know.
Yeah, nobody's sure whether that one's happening yet or not. I guess just keep your eyes peeled on TFTV for the news for that or whatever. I mean, people are gonna figure it out, you know? I wouldn't be too worried about that. Worst case, we'll see each other again next week. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it from us tonight. Bye.
Good night.